Why are you in a leather jacket?
I don't know when. It's weird. When I get heavily intoxicated, I would like to wear my leather jacket.
Why?
I don't know. I just sort of like the feeling of it on my skin. I've got my Jimmy Jams underneath it.
Have you got your pajamas on?
Yeah, because it's 11 o'clock at night, so I've got my pajamas underneath. Actually, there's my pajamas.
And Ugg boots.
Yeah. Oh, no. I spilled something.
You don't sleep in a leather jacket, do you?
No. I take the leather jacket off as I'm about to hop into bed.
Where did you even get a leather jacket from? I thought
Scotch and soda.
I thought only bikies sort of wore leather.
Oh, hang on. Steady on, mate. Yeah. Okay, maybe I am dealing speed on the side.
Not saying that all bikies deal speed, right?
No, just the ones that drive in pack, that ride in packs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they won't be happy with that.
Hey, Cooper.
Yes.
Before we start, quite seriously, like Munster's he's a really tight mate of yours. I can only imagine how proud you are of him tonight.
Yeah. Particularly like when I saw the scenes after the game where all the boys are hugging him, because Munster's an emotional guy, but you never really see him cry or he's always a larrikin in a change room. Like even when you saw the photos of him come back into camp and he was smiling at captain's run and stuff, like that's typical Munster. Like so much stuff could go wrong, and he's always that kind of guy. So to see how emotional he was after the game and all the boys sort of hugging him and stuff, yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty emotional. Even watching, I wish I was like out there with him just to sort of wrap your arms around him. But yeah, like obviously everyone knows the news. Given from our condolences to the Munster family for his old man Stevie Boy, and he, of course, Cameron's mum and sister Deb and Danielle and Bianca, his wife, and the 3 kids that they've got. But Stevie Boy was he was always in the sheds after the game, and every Saturday when a few of us boys whenever Saturday during the preseason, we'd all gather at one of the boys' places and we'd watch the races together and have a few beers after a tough session. Stevie Boy would always have the really good mail from up in Queensland, so he'd always text us a tip, and he tipped us once. I think it was a trot, and it was $110 trotter.
What?
Yeah, $110. Actually, no, it was a horse, and then he kept tipping it. It won, and heaps of the boys were on it. And then he kept tipping it like months gone after. He must have put it in his black book, Stevie, and then it never won again. But
wow.
Yeah, a lot of the boys got on it. But yeah. Obviously, horrible news for Money. But I was so proud as a mate to see how. I know I'm a New South Welshman, but I think there was a little part of me that wanted to see a really good performance from Queensland for Munster's sake. It would have been. It would have topped off a bad week for him if he come off the field disappointed, but you could see how much it meant for Queensland and blokes like Tom Dearden and stuff, how much they all elevated themselves for Munster.
Coops, man, I tell you, when I saw that Queensland side behind Billy, when Billy was talking to the media leading into the game and the tragic news had just hit, as a New South Wales fan, I went, I get a feeling I know it's coming. Even blokes, yeah.
Even pre-game, like those people that don't know, you see the boys, the Queensland boys were getting their left arm taped with black tape. So when somebody who means something to the club or someone in the playing group, everybody shows their respect by taping that tape on their forearm. So you take them out with you, take that sort of memory out with you, and you could see when you're sitting across from a bloke like Cameron Munster, who's the captain of the club, everybody in a team loves Money. Like everybody, he's so good for morale and everybody has a good relationship with him. And given his stature in the game, how important he is in the NRL, when you're sitting across from a bloke and you're putting the armband on, he's got it there, he's emotional. He showed up on State of Origin decider after, 3 days after his old man passing. Like you just knew that they were going to go out and those players knew that they were going to give their all out in the field for Munster. Like
you look at some of the blokes in that side who got such high emotional threshold. Tino, saw him before the game, stretching. Yep, man, he's stone-faced. Tom Dearden. Man, if you want to win a game with emotion and guts and determination, he's the first picked. But then you got Josh Papali'i and that all those blokes when you see those blokes, that type of player will live for their mate.
Oh, yeah.
That would actually, in their mind, go, mate, I'm not going to come off this field. I'm not going to let that bloke, I'm not going to let his week get worse.
Yeah. And particularly like all the blokes that you name, they're all, and you saw it throughout the whole game, they're all effort. Like some of the efforts on the field that night, and Billy Slater used to say this at Melbourne, effort's an attitude. Like you can tell the attitude of someone by how much effort they're putting in. That's efforts in defense, efforts in, chasing something that even if someone's going to score or try, you're chasing back so you make the goal kick a little bit harder for them. So they have to kick it from the corner post. Those little shit, all of that stuff Queensland did tonight. They were everywhere, and that come off the back of their emotion for money.
Coop, I'll say this off the top before we sort of talk through the game and how it unfolded. I don't think this is hyperbole to say this. Like, I know Fatty beat us in 95 3-0. Unbelievable coaching performance. Gus has coached some incredible performances for New South Wales. I reckon this could be the greatest, as far as series is concerned, the greatest coaching performance from Slater. Given the fact, think about the things he's done through this series. Dropped his captain. Yeah. Like that's as far as a coach, that's a career-defining decision to do that. Then all of a sudden, like he brings a team in, different team in for game 2. They win game 2. Mo Fotuaika, he drops him for Josh Papali'i because he thinks I need something to beat him in the decider. And then all of a sudden, like the injury with Kalen, the Liz Frank, well, Reese is going to go in because they've got no depth in the centre. Because you've got to move, if you're going to put Hammer to fullback, you've got to find another centre. They haven't got one. Yet he goes, no, Hammer's in better form. I'm going to put Hammer to fullback, even though Reese is one of his favourites, and we're going to bring in Gemmet Shibasaki, who is one of the biggest bolters outside of Ben Ikin in Origin history as far as selection. 2018 made his debut, 45 NRL games. Since then, stint in Japanese rugby. Stayed at no club for more than 5, 6, 7 games, only a couple of games at certain clubs, and he picks him, and he's outstanding. It just shows you Billy's preparation. And for him to sit there in his theatre at home, at his horse stud, and just go through and watch, and recognising something in Shibasaki and says, I'm going to select that bloke. And on the other side of the field, you've got Robert Toya, another one who's on the same level as far as shock selections, but they get it done. Well,
he's learned from a bloke like Craig Bellamy, right, who has always had an eye for, he's got traits that he likes and traits that he notices, and like general public probably don't, they look at a bloke and they go, oh, he's shit, he belongs in reserve grade, he belongs in that. But a lot of people were saying about Gemmet 3 years ago, but there's certain attitudes and attributes in players where you see and that a certain coach can get the best out of him. Billy's like that. Like Billy rewards effort, and Billy sees little things in people's attitude where he knows is I can get the best out of that player.
And Coops, when you talk to Billy, he sums up, I think, the philosophy on rugby league. When it comes to rugby league, the subtleties make such a massive difference. It separates the very good from the great. And Billy's got an amazing sense of the subtle. It ain't about the bricks, it's the mortar. You can do a little play. And remember working with Slater, when we do stuff up the road here, and him and Munster and Cooper and so on. And you'd have a play, and then he'd go, yeah, that's good. But if I get Smithy to jump out there and I just do that a second half later, and you go, fuck, that's genius.
Yeah.
That's clever.
And it's not just rugby league, it's coaching in general. Like it's leadership in general. When he used to show up, Slatsy, the year or two after he'd retired, he'd come for once a week and we'd be practicing the shape and we just couldn't get it right. Yeah. And he would break it down, sit there with us as like backs and halves and say, this is what each person's focus needs to be. The half, you need to focus this, and this is why you focus like that, because it'll get you doing this. The back rower, if you're hitting this hole, this is where you need to be hitting it and the timing of it, and this is why. He's very good at explaining and making you understand why your role is so important in certain plays and in the team. He's very good at it.
Isn't it amazing for a bloke that was so a brilliant individual but knows the not only the subtleties, but that holistic thing with the team.
I think that's what made him so good, because he had the ability where his natural ability was amazing as a player, but then he also understood the game on a level that probably other people in the NRL who had his ability couldn't. Like, for example, Brett Snake, who I've been coached by at Manly, he doesn't understand the game on Billy's level, but his natural ability is unbelievable. They were the two best players in the world at one stage. They were two best fullbacks going at it. But Billy's IQ of the game, and it comes from obviously Craig Bellamy, who he had, and the players around him, but he's got, that's the edge that he has on other players.
No wonder they've dominated for so long.
It's hard not to.
You got Billy Ake, you got Cameron Smith, you got Billy Slater, and you got blokes like Cooper Cronk, who are real students of the game, surrounded by such amazing natural ability. Oh, yeah. We look at that 2017 where they had Greg Inglis. I mean, they were over the salary cap, but they had Greg Inglis, Israel Folau. Like, you've got these unbelievable. Well, look at the 2017 side. That's one of the best sides of the modern era, alongside that Penrith side.
Yeah.
You know, like Penrith are the standouts of the modern era, but that side was an incredible side.
Oh, on paper, yeah.
Let's run through how the game unfolded. And it's really funny. In the opening exchanges, one of the things we've said a lot of the times, Coops, is New South Wales had to get early ball to our centres. And early on the game, they did that. They went bang, bang, bang through not a high risk movement, bang, bang, bang to Stephen Crichton, who made 30 metres, right? Okay, that's the way we do it. Then all of a sudden, the next set after that, we go bang, bang, bang to Stephen Crichton again. He makes another break. But I'll tell you what, Coop, so we're dominating in those early exchanges. And I'm going, man, we're dominating yardage. We're in position for attacking kicks consistently here. But what happens? A seismic shift. Even that early in the game happens. Crichton throws the ball inside. Nathan takes the ball, gets caught on the fifth tackle. Jerome Luai takes the ball, Coop, and he kicks and doesn't hit high enough. It's too long, 7 tackle set. And I'm telling you, early in the game, everything changes.
Yeah.
They march downfield and they draw a penalty and they lead 2-0. Now, when you're a red-hot favourite in a game, people go, it's 2-0, it's nothing. That just puts a tiny little pressure on you.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the thing that, like, people might not know. For a week and a half in camp, they're hearing from Laurie, they're hearing from all their coaching staff, New South Wales, we need to get off to the better start. We need to get the first points on the board. So apart from, it's only 2 points, like you said, but the mentality that they've had all week, New South Wales, is we're coming out firing and we want to score first. We want to get first points on the board. And when that happens, instantly in their head, they go, there's our first job that we haven't ticked. Yep. And going back to that moment you just said, the 7 tackle, in a big game like in New South Wales, State of Origin, but even NRL in general, the difference between a level like NRL and then going into State of Origin is, in NRL, you can kick a 7 tackle set and the team, they might not be good enough to make you pay for it straight away, or they might make an error coming out of their own end. You don't see the instant consequence, but at a level when you're playing against the best, everybody 1 to 17, it's the best players in the world. One error can be costly for the next 20 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you, Coop, how the pressure built, because in the next sort of period in the game, what actually starts to happen is we start to try to push the ball towards the edge, but again, we start advancing the ball too far into the line. And Shibasaki and Toya start to, that they defend us outside in, and they're rushing outside in, and they're preempting that. But because we get a little bit of pressure, and you can see that we're just that little bit rattled, we've lost a little bit of composure, we keep doing it. And we're taking the ball, and it's producing errors.
Yeah.
Right? Shibasaki and Toya were outstanding defence.
Yeah.
But what happens not long from then, there's as I said, huge momentum shift. And we get Tom Dearden gets the ball in broken play, and it's funny with Tommy. Tommy's not known for his sleight of hand in his playmaking, but he gets the ball in double pumps and he hits Ruben Cotter. Cotter goes through the hole, and he's got a hammer on his inside. And actually, he was fantastic, Ruben Cotter, but he blows a 2-on-1. He's just got to pull him away, simple 2-on-1, and Hammer scores. But he sort of blows it, he cramps his space and doesn't score. But Queensland get a penalty. And now at that point, where the kick before, they've gone 2-0. This time, I think, they're going to make 4-0. No, they can smell blood in the water. They can look at New South Wales straight away and go, mate, they're off their game. Yeah. Let's make them pay. And the whole series, Coop, and sometimes I thought that they should have went the other side, particularly in game one. But Billy's had this infatuation for a couple of series at going at Lomax. Go at Lomax all the time. And that set, they go at Lomax. Lomax goes outside in, misses the tackle, they score in the corner.
Yeah, golden rule.
And Val kicks it from the sideline. Valentine Holmes had the best performance I've seen from him for years and years.
He had a strong series.
Mate, he knocked it from the sideline. Then you go, mate, this bloke is on.
Yeah. Like you said with Lomax, like they've always had that. He's always been known not for his defense, but the golden rule for people on the edge is when you come out of the line and jam, as a winger, as a half, as a center, whoever it is, whenever you come outside of the line, you have to stop the ball. Like you have to you got to either knock the ball down and stop it, or you need to make the tackle. And he completely missed whoever the left center was there.
Yeah.
Valentine Holmes, I think it
Val. Was it Val? Yeah, it was. I think it was Val. Shibasaki. I'm sorry, Jack.
Completely missed Shibasaki.
It was good. Yeah. Hey, now, okay, next thing that happens, Coop, it's like, who's our bloke? Right, if you think of New South Wales and you go, right, who's our intimidator? Would you agree with me? It's Liam Martin.
Yeah.
Like he's our...
I'd say him or Payne Haas.
Yeah. But I reckon Liam Martin, Payne is incredible going for... Payne's like a machine.
He hasn't got the mongrel in his game though, right?
But Martin is the bloke who's led the charge as far as physicality. We get a penalty, right? And you should see this. We go back and watch it. He gets the tap and he runs forward. Kurt Capewell hits him. Coop. And, mate, I've never seen Liam Martin rattled like that. Because Liam Martin's probably been hit that hard before, but he's never been hurt like that. Liam Martin's the sort of bloke that if you shot him in the leg, he wouldn't show he's hurt.
Yeah.
But Capewell hits him that hard, and then, mate, you can see he's hurt. I wouldn't be surprised, Coop, he got strapped up. I reckon he might have a broken wrist or broken forearm.
Well, even... And
for me, that typified their greater physicality.
Yeah. Well, even another example of that was you talk about before Origin was picked, we go, geez, New South Wales, we talked about it all at the start of the year. New South Wales has so many back rowers in comparison to Queensland, Angus Crichton and Liam Martin.
Yep.
And they're the two probably most damaging ball runners in the NRL, those two. You see that Capewell flogged Liam Martin. And then on the other side, Angus Crichton gets it early and Valentine Holmes comes out and absolutely irons him out. You never see Angus Crichton get pumped like that.
Mate, he was doing that last series. He was bullying.
Yeah. I haven't seen him get flogged like that in at least 3 years.
And from there, Coop, what happens, from there? I mean, we're 8-0 down, and then the pressure really starts. And I'll tell you how it manifested itself on our football. You watch our attack from there. Our attack starts to be so bunched. Now, Queensland, what they want to do, they want to compress and they want to rush us. And we just complement that because we're tight, we're taking the ball too far in the line, and Toya and Shibasaki are saying, mate, this is money for jam. And they just start jamming us outside in. And what happens next is Queensland push the ball to the edge. Robert Toya gets the ball. Latrell's about to throw him over. And Robert Toya... And this is, again, symbolic of a performance from New South Wales that was so lazy. Is that as he's going over the sideline, all the New South Wales blokes on the inside start walking.
Yeah.
Toya throws the ball on the inside. Hammer picks it up. No one there.
Takes
off. Runs down. Inside ball. Dearden under the post. 14-0.
Yeah. It was a real show in the effort and the desperation. I'm gonna merge the other try into this conversation as well. About 6 minutes later, Harry Grant scores his try where he gets out, not actually a whole heap doing, and manages to score from dummy half. But when you watch that try, if you watch it back, similar to the example you just said with Robert Toya throwing it back in, the lack of desperation from New South Wales, because there was about 4 blokes around Harry. Harry actually, it wasn't like he got down, scored straight away. He was upright, fighting off blokes for about 5 or 6 seconds, and then managed to score. Like, they'll be watching that back, and it was a real show of a lack of effort from the boys in there.
Jack made a point, because we come up with an error. I think they got a repeat set, and then we dropped it out, and I'm sitting with Jack on the couch, and I'm stuffing Doritos in my mouth. And Jack goes, mate, they're going to score here. He said, look at New South Wales. Mate, they are wobbling on the ropes. It was a it was a boxing match, honestly, the referee would step in and do the standing 8 count.
Yeah.
New South Wales were just out on their feet. Queensland at that point, leading into halftime, are just doing whatever they want with us. And I'm not going to say it was a soft try because it was our man Harry who scored it, but it was an unusually soft try. Here I say it again, but no other way to describe it. At Origin.
Yeah.
And he just went boom, 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 scored
well, it was
20-0.
You could, it was, Harry just wanted it more. And you get that. If it was one-on-one and he was tackling, and someone was trying to tackle him one-on-one, you go, oh, that's all right. Yep. But there was, when I watched it back, there was about 3 or 4 blokes around it. There was 2 or 3 blokes with their hands on Harry, and he still managed to spin out of a couple tackles and then get it down. Like, it was very unusual for an Origin level.
Yeah. And Coop, so in halftime we're 20-0 down. And the standouts in the first half thought were Toya Shibasaki, Val Holmes, and particularly Tom Dearden. Right. As we come out of halftime, Coop, it's funny how pressure starts to once again manifest itself. We're 20-0 down. But what starts to happen, Coop, is they continue to defend outside in. Queensland have learnt their lesson. In game 2, they got ahead and they played nervous and they let us back in the game. There's no doubt that Billy, the thing, I always believe, the thing that eliminates nerves and apprehension is aggression. The moment that you in a game when you're going, well, I protect the lead or I'm feeling a bit nervous, just override it with aggression and it'll remove. And they just continue. They actually up their aggression. They defend us outside in. And because we are behind, we start trying to throw the absolute pass. Now, what I mean by that is the perfect pass. We continue to take the ball into the line. What we should have done there, Coops, right, if you were to rush in defence and they're coming outside in, and particularly when they're preempting it, which they were, if we're going to take that ball into the line, what you do is you beat them in 2. You don't try to beat them in one movement, right? So Toya's coming. Let's imagine Shibasaki's coming outside in.
Yeah.
I go all the way the line and I hit my back rower short. Shibasaki's got to go back 20 metres, get on the side.
Yeah, because he's up past the ball,
And you rip around, you beat them in 2. Yet we kept trying to do the big play all the time and we just kept coming up with errors. High-risk passing, errors.
It was,
and we really just dug our own grave.
It's become a bit weird of New South Wales. Game 2 and game 3, as we just saw, it's like they have a game plan and they struggle to adapt. It's like a message. They struggle to get a message across where they go, righto guys, this is what they're doing. We'll change to adjust to what they're doing for our strengths. It's like they have a game plan in their head, and then they almost try to force it to work.
Yep.
Like you said, like they were jamming a hell of a lot. And then the beauty of you hit your back row and you get a quick play the ball because he runs at a half. The centre and the winger are up in front of the ball because they're trying to jam the fullback and the centre out the back. The beauty of that next play is you have a front rower who has just got to chase from the open side to the short side to cover the halfback's position. So it's it was really bizarre they weren't sort of taking that route.
So like at 20-0, what actually starts to happen, there's a little small period in the halfway through the second half, we actually start to get our game on a little bit. And what we do is we push the ball to the left-hand side of the field. This time we give the ball earlier. Latrell gets early ball, boom, and he pushes onto To'o. Guess who comes across and does a try saver?
Our man.
Tom Dearden comes across. But we do get a repeat set out of it. And then what happens next is the way I always think about the philosophy of football. Philosophy of football is you advance the ball. However you advance the ball, if you penetrate down it past the scrum line or a 10-metre line and straight away you go to the far side. Now what happens there, they push the ball again to the left, early ball, boom, Latrell goes bang to Brian To'o. Brian To'o goes so close to scoring. But mate, what happens is when you are that close to the sideline and that close to the line, when you look at above shot, there's about 5 or 6 Queenslanders all around the ball.
Yeah.
So where's the ball got to go? It's got to go the far side to Crichton. And this time they get it there. 1, 2, 3, and hits Crichton on a shot, and we score in the corner.
Yes, beautiful quick hands.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like you said, when actually a side shows too much effort, too much desperation. They all overchased. You saw some of the middles actually get in there to stop Brian Toto, which compressed about 6 players into that short corridor of the field and allowed so much space over the right side.
Boxing, when Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman in the Belgian Congo or Zaire, the rope-a-dope laying on the ropes. Part of that is almost in rugby league is a team is so enthusiastic to get after you in defence is that what you do is you lead them on and you push the ball to an edge and they will chase the ball, lead them for the rope-a-dope to go the other side of the field. This
is a very niche example I'm going to use, but Penrith used to do it when they'd play against the Eels about 2 or 3 years ago when Clint Gutherson was there. Because Clint Gutherson, he was known for his effort at fullback. He would overchase a lot of the time because he was putting in so much effort. So they came up with a play. We ended up stealing it at Melbourne as well, where they'd hit Nathan on the right-hand side, who would pretend to kick to the right corner. He'd then send it back to Jerome Luai on the other side because he knew that Gutho was so fit and so putting in so much effort. He'd always overchase to try to get the kick on the full. So it's using that desperation against it. It's overthinking. It's almost banking that defence is going to be putting in so much effort.
Coop, 20-6, and you're going, okay, can we get back into it? And when you're watching it, we made an error not too long after it, and that's when the momentum bubble burst. 70th minute, Queensland's first error. No wonder we're fucked.
Yeah.
No wonder we're so gassed.
Yeah, I didn't realise that they'd gone, I think that it was about 26 or 27 from 27 before they made a 27 completion rate, 100% until the 70th minute. That's unheard of at any level, let alone state of origin level where there's so much fatigue. I can't remember if there's ever been a state of origin where a team's completed 100% for so long of the game.
Yeah. Well, and then Dearden scored the try late. Fitting, 2 tries, Tom. And then we grab a late try. 24-12 it finishes. I must say the scoreline flatters the Blues.
Yeah.
They were monumentally better.
Yeah. I mean, it really lent into the narrative, didn't it, where game 1 we were so dominant. Game 2, that second half, we nearly came back and won it from a massive deficit. And we thought, we're playing at home, game 3. We're going to win this. But it really did all shape up for a Queensland upset. They really lent into the narrative of we're the underdog. It was a classic Queensland win. And I get my hopes up every year and thinking they can't beat us this year, but they always managed to.
From 1-0 down and beating us, it was an amazing effort from the team and the coach. Munster, again, and Coop, I've copped not a lot of shit, but a little bit for this. Through like last week, me and Cooper of the Cronk variety named our top 10 Origin players of all time, and I put Munster in there. I almost put Munster in the top 5. I think that much of him as far as how he's performed in big games.
Yeah.
And tonight just reaffirmed it. Like Munster tonight wasn't in the top 3 players on the field. But sometimes, Coops, it's what you don't do.
Yeah.
Go back to game 1. And our man Harry Grant, what he did, he was so keen to make an impact, he forced himself into the game and come up with errors and plays. Harry plays his best when he goes with the flow. Yeah. In this game, the game was working beautifully. And rather than Munster try to force himself in that, he just went with the flow beautifully. Leadership, he will go down. That performance tonight will go down in Queensland legend.
Well, 100%. I think that everyone talks about that 1995 series when Fatty had to pick people only from the ARL. None of the Super League guys could be in it, and they ended up beating New South Wales, which is a historic win. They talk about 2020 Origin decider where Munster played hungover and played one of the greatest Origin series of all time. Now you talk about this one, 2025.
Incredible.
And now Munster, 5 years later from that series where he won the Wally Lewis Medal, he's now captaining this side. He'll go I got no doubt he'll go down as one of the greatest players of all Origin players of all time.
Without a doubt. Tell you what, the leather was a real faux pas. It's fucking no wonder they wear it when it's
hot,
cool. Fucking I'm beating.
Yeah.
And Coop, when you're saying about that, about that different mentality, I remember that I was in that 95 series, unfortunately, and I remember game 1, and we must have been $5 favourites. I don't know. They gave them no chance. We prepared, and I prepared like it was a normal NRL game. And I remember going on the field at Sydney Football Stadium and ran on. And we're getting ready for the national anthem. We walked out, and all of a sudden Queensland come onto the field. And I looked at my teammate Robbie O'Davis, and he just looked different. He fucking charged onto the field. And I looked at him at that point, and I must say, a little thing in my brain went, I fucking think we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
They were just more desperate, and they were more desperate. They wanted it more, and they attacked us like underdogs do. And Coops, and tonight, one of the tale of the tape tonight is this. You measure desperation and want by what you do in defence. And defensively, they were fucking outstanding.
Yeah.
Toya, Shibasaki, hitting us outside in all the time. They were tireless.
Yeah.
That's what they were. Righto, Coop, 3-2-1 on the night.
On tonight, look, my three, similar to like everyone's, Tommy Dearden. I think there's so many doubts. DCE was being dropped. He come into halfback. If there are any doubts of if Tommy Dearden can play halfback at this level, he shut them all up now because his kicking game was great and he controlled the team so well. Number 2, Valentine Holmes. He was my 2 points. I think he's getting to that level of Dane Gagai-esque of where he just elevates himself into Origin Valentine.
It's great play.
Oh, mate, will you be my Valentine?
Yeah. The Dragons hope so.
Yeah. And then number 1, I had Tino. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. I love what he did tonight. I think the effect of Josh Papali'i coming into camp, you just saw Tino simplify his game and he didn't feel like he was the leader of the pack out there. He felt like he could just – it was like he almost wanted to impress playing alongside Big Papa. So I think he was Tino should be real proud of his performance.
It was a masterstroke from Billy bringing Big Papa in. You know what? In the pregame, I didn't know that Tino's dad played for the Roosters.
I didn't either.
No, amazing. That's really slipped through to the keeper. My 3 points, Tom Dearden. My 2 points, Val. My 1 point, I've gone Robert Toya and Shibasaki, both of them together. I thought, Coops, as far as big game, playing a high-pressure game, so settle the lead up, those two blokes aren't in the same postcode as Critter and Trell.
Yeah.
But the desire and the want.
Yeah.
Okay, series.
All right. My 1 point goes to Brian Toto. I think Brian Toto had one of his best series he's had in a losing side, but Bizza was outstanding. I think he equaled the most tries in an Origin ever by anyone this series as well. So
go down one of the greatest wingers in Origin history.
Yeah, my 2 points. It was actually Tommy Dearden. I didn't have him as my man of the series.
Yep.
I mean, it could have gone either way here, but Tommy Dearden was outstanding. I loved in his speech at the end. If people didn't see it, dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah,
loved that.
Disgusting.
I love F-bombs, particularly on live TV.
Tom, you've let yourself down to
That's right. Well, I mean, you'll probably get fined for it.
Yeah,
but
you're a disgrace, Tom.
Nonetheless, number 3, 3 points of the man of the series. I had Cam Munster. I thought what he did in game 2 really set. It brought him back. It gave life to Queensland to do what they did in game 3. So shout out to Money
and taking over the captaincy. 2 from 2 as captain.
I know.
2 Utah. 2. 3 Tom Dearden for my man of the series. 2 points Munster. My 1 point, I can't split 3. I've gone Payne Haas. Ruben Cotter.
He's good.
Ruben Cotter was back to his awesome best, and Kurt Capewell. Old dog, hard road. Fucking fantastic, that bloke.
Yeah.
Fuck, he can play.
He can play.
And to finish with Coop, I just want to say this, right? To finish with the positive New South Wales, I just want to say for the New South Wales team, fucking well done to you blokes, because there's some things that are more important than football. And for all those blokes, I saw him at full-time go up to Munster and hug him and was sending him messages through the week. That's fucking class, mate.
Yeah.
And the way Isaiah Yeo got up at the end there and he made mention to it, you know what? Good on you, boys.
Yeah,
it's good shit.
That was good shit. And they're a bloody good side, and devastated that they didn't win, but
get this fucking coat off,
man. Get that coat off, man, you leather boy.
Oh, man, I got to stop doing this intoxicated. Fucking yeah.